Guess what? It's more Alyssa, guys. More Alyssa. Oh my God. Oh no, you're talking about her all night. Oh no. And she's suing you. You're not allowed to cover the news, even though these are things she's saying. And she's the one calling you the harasser. Well, I just like to point out that, in fact, she is the harasser. And that's why it's important to cover this. And people get confused. This is the other thing that frustrates me about this entire situation is I can't I can't make people to believe my perspective. I can't get people to understand the situation. So there's a lot of looky-loos because this is from a distance. Hell, even close up, it's kind of a car wreck. But from a distance, it's just a big fiery car wreck. And there's a lot of drive-by viewers online that are just like, oh God, that smashed JT and Alyssa. Both of them are wrong. Both of them are annoying. It's like, I mean, sure, okay, that's a take, and I understand that take because I've felt that way about situations when people are fighting online, where I'm just like over it, and I get it. I totally get it. But this is one of those where I'm just like, I beg people just to take, if they want to form an opinion, to take 30 seconds out of their day to do any research on it whatsoever before forming an opinion of they're both annoying and they're both wrong. Because as soon as you actually look at the information and understand the order of events and how this person goes online and attacks people constantly, and how I just cover news and talk about things that are interesting. And sure, I might go at people a little bit harder if I feel like they're coming at me pretty hard. That's how this world works. I don't know how to tell people this otherwise, but regardless of that, people are going to think what they're going to think, and I'm not going to be able to change everyone's mind. With that in mind, we got Old Man Grim posting on X this morning. Surprise, surprise, she woke up miserable and cunty again. Alyssa Mercante, a broad, come fight me if you think the video game. Whoa. Wait, does she not understand how quotes work? Because I believe the quote was this.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
If anything, the first thing I pick up on here is this is why she failed at journalism. Because she misquotes herself. Which is really hard to do because you're the one that said it. But regardless of that, come fight. This is in quotes, by the way. A broad, come fight me if you think the video game industry isn't naturally diverse, end quote, after facing months of harassment is, one, tame. Did that strike you guys as tame? And what gets cut from that afterwards is, has anyone taken up on that offer yet? No, because they're all pussies. Does that sound tame to you, or does that sound like someone that genuinely wants to fight people? I mean, personally, I'm a lover, not a fighter, but watching the way she says things and how it comes across to me, it sounds like she's a fighter. It just sounds like she wants to fight people. Two, not directed at any one person. Okay, you know what? I would give her that. Except for in the following days, she started trying to take people up with fights on social media and was talking with multiple different parties about setting fights up with them, and then said, oh, I don't want it to be sponsored. I don't want it to be a big attention. I don't want you to grow off of it. With Vara Dark, I just want to, I'm summarizing. I just want to fight you in some dark alley. Sure sounds like that's directed at a person. Weird. Almost like she's backing up what she said and now is trying to take a statue down and change history because that's what the different people do. Anyways, 3, not worthy of harassment and threats for over a year. Well, that's very curious because what you deem as harassment doesn't mean it's actually harassment. And what you deem as threats means welcome to the internet. If you're going to be antagonizing people proactively, poking the internet bare, telling people to come at your family, which you've done, by the way, and I will pull that receipt if you want me to. I dare you to. Where you talked about having people come at your dad and your brother, and you're like, we can take you. I'm summarizing because holy shit, she says so much. I can't remember word for word everything she says, but she says this kind of stuff and then deletes the tweets, which I save because you need to save them with someone like this to have evidence to prove them wrong, because they will pretend that you're the crazy one. They'll say this unhinged shit and then delete it. And then you'd be like, well, you said this to these people and now it's gone months later. So you're acting like it didn't happen. You keep deleting history, pretending like everything's hunky-dory and normal when it's anything but that. If you felt attacked, you're telling on yourself. I've been doxxed. I've had my relationships personally threatened. I've had convention appearances threatened. I've had a lawsuit sent to me. And I have yet to see you show anyone anything worthy of justifying your actions of what you've done up to the point of the lawsuit and then suing me. None of the receipts that you have provided, Alyssa, at least in the, maybe, I don't know if the court of law is different. It might be, to be fair. In the court of public opinion on the internet, everyone's looking at what you've presented and been like, the fuck is this? What do you even have on this guy? What even is it? What did he do to you? He said you suck dick for money? You said that yourself, and you said it was a joke and that it's not even a big deal to you. But apparently it's a really big deal if someone else says it. Can you please, for everyone's sanity, make sense of your own words? Because that is the crux of the problem with all of this right now. You are suing someone with a family. You are doxing someone with a family. You are putting someone with a family in danger. People outside of this world of the internet drama, you are putting these people now in danger and in jeopardy. And by doing the actions that you've done, it tells me clear as day that you don't give a shit about my wife or my kids. Now, this is coming from someone who maybe doesn't care about kids based off their past actions. So, someone could surmise that, which would be fair. But the problem is, she's coming at me, and that's not fair to me. Just because she doesn't care about kids, just because she doesn't care about what do you call it? A straight white male being married, just because she doesn't care about that kind of stuff, doesn't allegedly, by the way, based off her actions, doesn't mean that I can't live that life, which is hysterical because I thought this was supposed to be like the people of acceptance. They seem to take serious issue with having a strong, sturdy nuclear family and doing everything they possibly can to hone in, target, and attack that once they find that. It's curious. It's very curious. Yeah, I'm close enough to White Lindo. I mean, when I'm not tan. Odin Darkle says it quite well. Judge, you called yourself a whore? Alyssa. Yeah, but Smash called me mean words online. I believe she called herself slutty in that same clip. She's also called herself sex positive. She says she has been a cam girl. She has said she sucked dick to get into the game industry. These are all things that she has said. And the fact that she's trying to sue me over like odd tweets, one of the tweets at least, I don't know. Again, I'm sure there's a lot of other things she's throwing in on this 89 pages, but nobody, and I mean this, up to and including my lawyer, can really make heads or tails of what they're even suing for. So I couldn't imagine a judge looking at it being like, oh, yeah, okay, yep, stochastic terrorism. Got it. Okay, yep, this makes sense. Let's move forward with this one. Like, in what world is any of this logical? This was in response to Lucas Rogers saying, you did call all these people out to fight you physically and then called them bitches. So I don't know, man. Maybe be careful what you say online. Talk about, by the way, talk about zero accountability from someone telling her the facts. Here's a mirror. I'm holding this mirror up to your face. Look at your face. And she says, no, that's not what I look like. Here's what I look like. And it's like, but you just described something that's not what is in the mirror. That doesn't make any sense. And then we have Jay Viper quote tweeting it saying, it's crazy. I have to say this, but, and Jay Viper's in the chat right now, I think. So shout out to Jay Viper. When you tell people to come fight you physically, broadly, while calling them a bunch of pussies and stupid mother effers, then people will take offense and hate you. Then when you maintain your destructive path, continually lying by omission and calling anyone who disagrees you an ist, phobe, chuds, thumbs, etc., then you won't suddenly stop having people coming into your comments or calling you out. And when people use your own words against you, for some reason, you think it's harassment. That's not even an overstatement. You literally do this. Jay's like, hey, Alyssa, I better be named in the next update on your lawsuit. I better have 12 pages too. I better have 13 pages. Screw nobody. I want 13 pages in your next lawsuit. Again, you've brought this all on yourself. Get the F out of the gaming industry and go into politics or somewhere you might be actually happy. I don't think there's any place this person would be happy. Well, actually, no, I take that back. There's definitely one place this person would be happy. But if you keep the same rhetoric, it doesn't matter where you go. Honestly, this will all happen again because of you. It's a vicious cycle. It's a very vicious cycle that she continues to proceed with. And I noticed in her video that got taken down by YouTube for, violating their terms of service, and their harassment and bullying policy was violated. So with that being the case, when I watched the video after she re-uploaded it, I thought it was curious that there's no receipts on me. There's her naming me or showing me a bunch of times and having me say her name a whole bunch of times, but there's no actual receipts about anything that I've done that could be considered harassment, at least in my eyes. Like, again, the problem with harassment is it's the same thing as hate speech. It's the same thing as I took offense to that. And it's like, well, fuck, you're going to take offense to things. You're going to have a bad time on the internet if you're going to try to police what people are allowed to say to you and what they're not. If you get offended by certain things, you're going to have a really bad time on the internet. And you can't offload your problem on other people, which is, I took offense to that. I'm harassed by that. It's like, well, shut off your computer, go outside, go dig a ditch somewhere or work in landscaping or whatever you do. Go do that. Get off the internet if you can't take it. And then I saw her post something else yesterday saying something about having receipts for me. And I was waiting for her to follow that up with actual receipts. And she never did. She never actually came through and was like, oh, here's the smoking gun of what Smash JT did. Here's what I'm suing him for specifically. And look at this. Look at, he actually did this awful thing. And so many people are so awful that it's so bad. And everyone's going to see it that way. And finally, they understand where I'm coming from. That didn't happen. That never happened. This is, by the way, I know lefties are really bad at humor, but this might be the funniest thing I've read in years. I've kept quiet regarding details. I really hope that's a joke. Because what? And oh, by the way, in her mind, she's probably justifying this like, oh, I didn't really talk about this on YouTube. So that means keeping quiet. I didn't verbally say something in a video. This person, this creature, cannot keep me out of her mouth almost every single day. If you go to her timeline, she is either directly referencing me, mentioning me, or transcendentally talking about me, trying to pretend like she's not, when she definitely is. And everyone who's anyone looks at it and can tell you that. But she thinks, oh, that doesn't count because it's written. It only counts if I'm verbally saying something out loud, which is why she feels so attacked by me, because my form of communication is YouTube. Her form of communication is writing. So she thinks that she's allowed to write whatever she wants, and it's not the same. It's written. It's just words. Those are just words. So let me be clear, Jeff. You obsessively tagged me in shitty memes for days. Okay. To the best of my recollection, I tagged her in one meme. One meme that went ultra viral. And it was a meme about Stellar Blade. And she got really mad about that. That meme had over 10,000 likes, and it went super viral. Hundreds of thousands of views. Everyone saw the meme. And if there's anyone in the chat that has that meme, if you want to send it to me in a DM, let me know, and I'll bring it up to show people, because I'm not going to try to search for it right now. But it went super viral back in the day. And she says, I obsessively tagged her. Maybe she doesn't understand how X works. Maybe she doesn't understand if I post a meme and tag her, if people quote tweet it and comment on it, then she might get like a notification from that. Maybe she thought that like that's like me tagging her again. It's like, no, that's someone else talking about you now. I mean, maybe we need to explain how the internet works to someone like this. I'm not really sure. I obsessively tag her in shitty memes for days. If, by the way, not true, but even if I give her that, if that was true, block me. People obsessively tag me in shit all the time. That is very antagonizing, rude, aggressive. And I'm just like, no, I don't just block. I just don't have time for these people. Literally, almost every single day. I was going to say literally every day, but I'm sure there's a day here or there where it doesn't happen. But nearly every single day, is there someone tagging me in something where I'm just like, yeah, no, block that person. I'm not going to even deal with that. When I first published my piece in March 2024, called people who supported me simps, because they are. You're going to sue me over that? That's my opinion. I can call people simps. These people talk to you like they want to sit in a chair and watch you. If you can't see that yourself, I don't know what to tell you, but that's the vibe that I get by reading what they post. You want me to lie? Then went batshit when I finally replied and said, you look like you don't floss. Oh my God. It's amazing how we rewrite history and forget the insane DMs that you wrote to me because I retweeted somebody that you didn't like. And then I unretweeted them and said, hey, sorry about that. Didn't know that was a soft spot for you. Sounds like you're really mad about it. I'll undo my retweet, which, by the way, first mistake. Don't ever do that with people like this. Learned that back then. Should have just kept it up and been like you. But I was trying to be nice. I was about to say, so sue me, but don't do that. You already did. Don't be nice to people. You cannot be nice. These people do not compromise. They look for an apology, and then once they find that weakness, they will hone in on you. Never apologize to these people, ever. So I learned that lesson with this person back then. So I unretweeted it, and I was just like, okay, sorry about that, whatever. She proceeds to write, I believe it was 3 or 4 very unhinged messages that I've covered in depth previously in my DM, directly at me, very aggressive, very rude. I don't typically share DMs, but I always make exceptions. Here's my entire history of DMing with those Alyssa Mercante guys. Ready? You ready? First message she sends me, you. This is the person suing me, by the way, for harassment to her. You and your ilk are sending harassment towards countless people for clout. That man could effing kill someone, and you're emboldening him. I'm like, this was after I unretweeted it and publicly was messaging her saying, like, sorry, didn't know that was a problem. She lost her shit on me that day. I truly wish nothing but the worst for you for the rest of your miserable fucking life. Don't know about you guys, but that sounds like someone who wants to incite harassment and ruin my life forever, up to and including running a lawsuit over me and trying to ruin my life further by claiming to be the victim. Not gonna work if you're saying these things to people, by the way. I mean, again, I'm no lawyer, but it conflicts a little bit with your point. You're a effing 45-year-old man, which, why do these people always focus on age of people? She's like 38 or something, 37, 38. She's older too. How is this even an own? What? I'm so confused by this. And no, I wasn't 45 at the time. This was last year. I was 42, 43, maybe. I wasn't 45. Look at what you're doing with your life. Look at what I'm doing with my life. Look at what you're doing with your life. You're literally waiting on tables. You are out of a job and out of the game industry, as far as I saw. Look at what you're doing with your life, Alyssa. Look at what your decisions and choices have brought you to. Reflect on what you've done to get where you are right now and think, am I the problem or are you the problem here? Think about that. Do you really think I have that much control over you? I don't. It would be really impressive if I did, but I don't. I can assure you I don't. That's what I keep trying to help you with, saying be personally accountable for your own actions. Only you can learn from this. I cannot force you to. I can try to bring you to the water to drink, but you need to drink from it to learn. You have now platformed a person who is, by the way, this is after I unretweeted it and apologized to her. Doesn't matter. The damage apparently was done with the 12 people that saw it. The world was over for her. That was it. Instead of going after that guy, by the way, she came at me, which shouldn't she be really mad at that guy and suing that guy? Was that Polish Productions or whatever? Why is she suing me over what that guy posted if it was that offensive? Again, she's done this from day one, more proof of it, where she pins what other people say and do on me for simply retweeting what they said and did. Desire to be violent against me. This is, by the way, ironically, the same woman that later on said, come fight me physically. I would say she expressed a desire to be violent against me from that clip, as well as someone who is sharing sensitive information, which, no. Don't know what the hell she's talking about with that. Again, I don't think she understands how social media works. I don't do a full investigative background check on every single person I retweet every single time I retweet something. Maybe she does. And if she does, hey, props to her for that. But that's not how it works. If you want to hold people accountable for what they've said, you should probably go talk to those people. On top of obsessing over me and dehumanizing me in your videos for weeks, I've been covering the crazy shit that you personally were saying. So if me covering what you said is dehumanizing you, then what's that say about what you thought about yourself? I've spoken to several lawyers and will move forward with them if need be. Think about what you are doing and stop. Which, by the way, this is another little tell that she fully planned on suing somebody. In fact, you could look at how she sent a C&D to Kiwi Farms, and they just laughed it off and threw it in the trash. And she did nothing with that. For some reason, she was like, yeah, you know what? Actually, scratch that. I'll send a C&D to Smash JT. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I should take this serious because she didn't do anything with Kiwi Farms, but I should probably take it serious because I don't want around with this. I take all this stuff really seriously when people do that kind of thing. When you move to stage 5 like that, clinger status, I have to take it extremely seriously. So I got Ron Coleman, and he's representing me. So we went through all this. We've talked about this. Anyways, the reason why I got on that, because she's trying to act like this is how it started. when in reality, I got a bunch of unhinged DM messages. Did you notice what I replied to her, by the way, before I move on from this? Do you notice what I replied? Nothing. I didn't delete anything. I didn't say anything and remove it. I just was like, yikes. Nope. Not dealing with this person. She's a psycho. She's a straight up psycho. Anyone to get in your DMs and talking like this. And oh, guess what she did after I didn't reply to her here? Yep. She went and searched my wife out, found her, and started DMing my wife with multiple messages about how awful I am. Yeah, I don't particularly think a judge would look well upon someone going out of their way, getting very personal with someone else. But again, I could be wrong. It just strikes me as a little bit unhinged to do that kind of stuff over someone retweeting someone. But regardless of that, after all is said and done, I posted, quote unquote, I have the receipts, ... proceeds to show random messages from people who are not me. And this summarizes Alyssa's video and follow-up posts. She is still, at least to my understanding, maybe we have different levels of classification on what counts as an actual receipt for harassment, but nothing I've done is harassment. And if it is, my goodness, why are you coming at me? Because you could argue Asmon Gold has said far worse about you than I ever have. And he's a much bigger fish than me. Why are you starting with me? It's just very strange when you start to put everything together. Anyways, I'll leave that portion here.